Jonathan Clements is one of the most highly respected investment journalists of recent times. Raised and educated in England, he moved to the United States after graduating from Cambridge University. He started out at Forbes Magazine, but soon began to question what he was actually writing about.
So in those initial years, I was focused on essentially writing these heroic profiles of star mutual fund managers. And one of the things I noticed about these guys was that even if they had a great story to tell at this particular moment, and it seemed they had a great track record, and it seemed like they were a great bet for the future, more often than not, they fell by the wayside.
Something else that struck Jonathan early in his career was that the investment professionals he spoke to would typically have an opinion as to whether the markets were about to go up or down. But very few, if any of them, predicted future market movements with any accuracy.
There is no way to objectively say whether the stock market is cheap or expensive. All of these valuation yardsticks, these grumpy old men used to talk about, price to book value, price to earnings, dividend yield, price to cash flow, all of them have not proven to be reliable ways to know whether stocks are expensive or cheap.
Eventually, Jonathan joined the Wall Street Journal. It was at the Journal that he became a consistent advocate for long-term, low-cost, passive investing.
In 1994, when I got my own column, this was my chance. And I started focusing relentlessly on index funds, pounding away at their virtues. Meanwhile, more and more index funds were becoming available so people could actually build a globally diversified portfolio using index funds. Data was becoming more readily available. We could see how much better index funds were doing compared to the typical actively managed funds. And if you followed the numbers and you followed the logic, there was only one place to go, which was you should be indexing.
There are a few other journalists who, like Jonathan Clements, champion index investing. The problem is, though, that index funds generally don't make exciting news stories.
If you're in the media, you need a new story for every publication. If you're a TV station, you need one for every hour. If you're a newspaper, you need one for every day. You need change. And so, the things that you and I favor, Robin, indexing, buy and hold, and so on, that ain't going to fill many monthly magazines. Instead, you need to have something where there's some action.
But just be aware that the sorts of funds you probably should be using generally aren't the ones that journalists usually write about.